Oh, yeah.
Hello there, folks. It's June 22nd, and Boston has yet another championship to celebrate. And boy, did they celebrate.
Yes, they did, and we have proof later on in the show.
But first, we'll start off just talking about that Stanley Cup.
Yes.
The big one.
Yep.
The one that eluded us for so long.
Until now.
So for 39 years in waiting, we were waiting for that Stanley Cup. It was 39 years ago, 1972, the days of yore.
Yes.
Bobby Orr. But it's back here in Boston. And thanks to an offensive assault from Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand in Game 7, well, it's back.
It is.
Combine that with Tim Thomas's Herculean effort throughout the entire playoffs and the finals alone.
Unreal.
Unbelievable, really.
Yes.
And, you know, we ripped on that power play left and right and said there was no way they could win a Stanley Cup with that power play. It had to get better.
It didn't.
I guess we've been proved wrong.
Yeah.
The power play didn't improve. They just brought the Canucks back down to their level.
Right.
The Canucks power play ended up going a combined 2 for 33. So figure that one out for me.
Well,
And that was the best power play in the NHL all regular season.
yeah. So I guess instead of our power play getting better, what happened was our penalty kill got a heck of a lot better.
Which
And
works.
Yeah, I mean,
it balanced
weighs
it
the
out.
same way. So
And brought it back to that 5-on-5 hockey, which the Bruins dominate.
best team in hockey at 5-on-5.
Absolutely.
No question.
I agree with you, 100%. So there's another championship in Boston. That's the seventh. That's the seventh now.
7th in the last 10 years.
How do you feel about that? Feeling good about it?
I can't even describe how I feel about it.
I'm joyous.
I feel like
I danced like a child through the streets of Boston, tap dancing.
I feel like a champion. That's how I feel.
Well, you didn't win, though.
Doesn't matter.
All right. I mean, this is the
our
city where
city won.
champions live, so
Right.
I guess that's fair.
Right.
Well, like we said, Tim Thomas was dominant in those playoffs.
Yeah.
Absolutely dominant. Won the Conn Smythe. I mean, tell us a little about Timmy.
Tim Thomas played out of his mind in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Absolutely. If you had to pick one person who was the reason we won the Stanley Cup, it was him. Through all the times when our power play was rough, for all the games when it was a 1-goal, 2-goal game, he came out, he stood on his head night after night, and wouldn't you know, all the saves that he made amounted to us winning the Stanley Cup.
Oh,
and there's
yeah.
no better prize than that. But he did win another prize as well. Tim Thomas, because of his amazing performance, actually won the Conn Smythe Trophy, and he was the MVP of the NHL playoffs, which he completely deserved. I mean, there's no argument for anyone else.
Hands down.
Yes, hands up, hands down.
All around.
Yes, there is.
Tim Thomas.
It is Tim Thomas. If you take a look at his numbers, he had the most saves in the playoffs. He stopped 798 shots. That's
Record.
a lot of shots.
That's a record,
That
too.
is a record, and it is a lot of shots. He also had the most saves ever in the Stanley Cup Finals. Do you
That's
know
a
how
record.
many? Do you know how many?
I do. It's on my little sheet here.
Well,
It says 238.
That's cheating.
Well, I did know.
All right, that's fair. Anyway, he also faced the most shots in the playoffs with 849.
It's a lot of shots to
Yeah,
face.
you faced the most shots, I mean, and he still came out on
And
top.
it's never fun to get shot at.
No, absolutely never.
Nope.
No. And he was also the first goalie ever to record a Game 7 shutout in the Stanley Cup Finals. And that's what propelled us on to take that cup home. So,
And the oldest player to win the Conn Smythe.
that's true as well. So congratulations to you, Tim Thomas. You just played, I mean, we knew you were great, but you just showed us a whole another level of hockey over the past couple months. And we thank you for that. And we thank you for that Stanley Cup.
And you know, that Tim Thomas story is one heck of a story, too.
It really is.
I mean, he didn't become a full-time NHL goalie until he was 31 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
And if for those who don't know, that his parents even sold their wedding rings so he could go to goalie camp when he was a kid. So
It's crazy.
I mean, it's wild, and here he is,
Yeah.
built like a champ,
Yep.
straight champ.
He is a champ.
Yep. And tonight he could bring home some more hardware.
Yeah, he absolutely could. And he could be bringing home the Vezina Trophy.
Yep.
Because he
second one in 3 years.
Yeah, and he is he is a finalist, and we'll find out later on tonight if he's going to take that home or not. Now, I mean,
I think it's safe to say it's a lock.
I'm leaning towards him winning it. I don't want to jinx him, but I am leaning towards him coming home with that. And Bruins have a chance to take home just a little bit more hardware as well. Zdeno Chara is a finalist for the Norris Trophy, which is the best defenseman in the Stanley Cup Final. So
let's
could be just a little bit more shiny stuff to bring home to Boston.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you know, Roberto Luongo might get that Vezina.
Maybe.
All right, I couldn't say it with a straight face. I tried.
No, it just.
Sorry, Roberto.
Yeah.
I tried for you.
What time is it in Boston?
It's 15 past Luongo, I believe.
I believe it is.
Thank you. That's a shout out. You know who you are. Well, now that the Bruins have won, like we said, it's Titletown here. When you drive into Boston, that sign says "Welcome to Titletown."
Yeah, I mean it was Titletown before, and we just keep piling them on.
But now it's officially. We've got all of them. We've got the 4 major championships in Boston.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with that Stanley Cup win, now the Bruins are champs, and the Patriots have 3 Super Bowls.
Yep.
The Red Sox have 2 Super Bowls.
Yes.
And the Celtics have a. Wait, did I say the Red Sox have 2 Super Bowls?
Pretty sure you just told our
viewers. Have 2 World Series.
They do.
There we go.
They have not won a single Super Bowl.
And the Celtics have won the NBA Finals. And every team is still successful.
Yeah.
The Bruins have all their players coming back.
This is all in the last 10 years. Don't get confused. We're not talking about in all of history. We're talking about the last 10 years. All of these things have happened in Boston.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're all still dominant teams in their respective leagues.
Yeah. I mean, there's not one of those teams that I will worry about are going to struggle next year. Who knows? You know, you can't look too far ahead, especially with the lockout. You don't know how things will go with the Patriots, with the Celtics. A lot of changes being made, but they're all going to be decent teams. They're going to be in the running, and that's all you can ask for.
Patriots are a Super Bowl favorite right now to take on the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But, of course, they're the weak link. They haven't won in 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Patriots.
I mean, they're a terrible team. They need to get it together.
Yeah.
But it's been 6 years since they've won one.
Yeah.
And
Step it up, Patriots.
Who would have thought in Boston that we would be saying the last championship we won in a sport was only 6 years ago of the 4 major sports?
And 6 years feels like a long time at this point.
Yeah, it does feel like a long time.
I mean, 3 years ago we got to see the Celtics win.
Yep.
And then, what was it, 4 years ago got to see the Red Sox win. This year got to see the Bruins win. I don't even remember what it's like when the Patriots win.
When they win or when they won?
Well, when they win.
When they win, it feels like greatness.
Heaven?
And not to mention, in that mix of championships, Patriots had an undefeated season.
Yeah, they did.
So figure that one out.
I don't like to talk about that.
I mean, the regular season, they had an undefeated regular season.
That doesn't mean anything.
We don't need to talk about what happened afterwards. We don't know what happened after.
Nothing
happened. They didn't have the playoffs then.
Now I'm in a bad mood.
They didn't have the playoffs that year. I'm sorry.
That's how it is in my memory.
Yep. Well, anyways.
Yeah. So, speaking of titles in Boston,
absolutely,
there is a possibility, and I don't want to jinx anybody, but there is a possibility that there could be another on the way.
Oh, there will be.
The Red Sox, remember the Red Sox, everybody?
No, who are they?
They're the baseball team that plays in the city of Boston.
Are they playing this year?
They are. It just happened that since the Bruins were doing incredible, nobody really paid attention to the Red Sox.
Oh, last I checked, they were terrible.
That's true. Last time most people checked, they were terrible. But after everybody got over the hangover from the Bruins winning the Stanley Cup,
and it was a hangover.
Took me till about Saturday.
Took me till about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, but as soon as everyone was over their hangovers and needed some sports to watch, flipped on the Red Sox and found out that they have been absolutely incredible lately. 42-18 since their 2-11 start. 42-18.
That's pretty good.
I mean, that doesn't happen much in baseball. That's really good, and they could definitely be on their way to some more hardware. I don't want to
do it.
I don't want to jump ahead or anything, but I mean, they look real good right now.
They look great.
Yeah, and
the offense looks great.
Yeah, the offense looks amazing. They are just destroying the baseball. Pitchers don't want to see anyone in our lineup right now.
If you listen closely, when David Ortiz and Adrian Gonzalez hit a baseball, you can hear it scream.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear it scream.
There is no question.
It's sad, really.
It really is.
Killing baseballs?
Well,
it's a hate crime, I think. Hate on baseballs. On sporting equipment.
Makes sense to me.
It's a hate crime.
Yeah.
But either way, they've been remarkable. And David Ortiz, he's hitting over 300 right now. The last time he hit over 300 was back in 2007. Now,
what happened in 2007?
What happened then? That was the last time the Sox won the series.
Oh.
A long time ago, back in 2007. But that was the last time he was hitting he finished a season over 300, so he's on a good pace. And when David Ortiz is hitting, things are on the upside.
Absolutely. Take a look at Adrian Gonzalez. He's just above and beyond everybody else right now. The man is definitely an MVP candidate.
Hands up, hands down.
Hands up, hands down, hands all around. MVP candidate. And also possibly could be looking at a triple crown. You know, he's leading 2 categories right now. He's got a 350 average. He's got 68 RBIs, leading in both those categories. He's 8 off the lead when it comes to home runs, but he's got 15, and he's got plenty of time to build on that.
Oh, yeah.
So Red Sox are looking real good.
Let him play a few more games in Fenway. I'm sure he can put some more in that bullpen and be safe.
Yes.
I think he might be able to make a push at that.
Oh, he definitely has a shot at it.
It would be amazing. It would just be another way to top off everything that's gone on here in Boston. If the Red Sox can pull out a World Series and Adrian Gonzalez can pull out an MVP and a Triple Crown in that, and the last time someone won the Triple Crown, who was it?
You know what I just realized? I wasn't listening to you. I know you asked me a question, but I wasn't listening. I just realized that we're starting to get greedy.
We are getting greedy.
We are.
And we deserve to be.
You're right.
Why not?
You know what? You're absolutely right.
And you know what I'd like to say to New York right now? I'd like to tell New York a little something. They've got 2 sports teams in every sport. 2 teams, each sport.
At least.
And you know what? We've got 7 in 10 years. Catch up.
Yeah. How many sports teams do we have in each sport?
That's all I can say. Uno.
Yeah, last time I counted, I mean, the Patriots don't only play for us, they play for the entire province of New England.
Mm-hmm.
So technically we have like 3 1/5 sports teams.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
And we're still winning championships.
So catch up, New York. And back to my trivia question. It's Yaz. Yaz won the last Triple Crown.
Oh.
Thanks for listening.
I didn't hear the question.
Jerk.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, we're going to go to the chat room now. Tensions are high. Can cut the tension with a knife. Anyways, let's go back to this Bruins playoff run. And we wanted to talk about turn around. Listen.
Okay.
We're doing a show here.
Okay.
This is a professional thing we're doing here. All right. Now, let's talk about our favorite moment from the Bruins playoff run, because there were many. I had a number of great favorite moments and outstanding moments that were great, amazing. But we asked you guys, and one of you answered us. Well, many of you answered us, but we're taking one that was the coolest. And that was from Chris on Facebook. And Chris said to us, Marchand beating up the Sedin sisters for 7 straight games. And, you know, I did like watching Marchand beat on the Sedin sisters for 7 straight games, and he was remarkable throughout the entire playoffs. He had 11 goals, which is a rookie record for the team. He had 5 goals and 7 points in the Stanley Cup Finals themselves, which is unbelievable.
It really is.
And he also took a few shots at Daniel Sedin,
a
couple of shots right in the head without Sedin reacting to him in Game 6. And then he was taking a few slashes at Henrik Sedin back in Game 2. So he made them work.
And those things, I mean, they're up there. They're near the top of the list for favorite playoff moments. But
what's yours?
You know, I thought about this a long time, and I think that my favorite moment actually didn't even happen during one of the games.
I think I know where you're going with this.
I bet you do. Happened before Game 7 when Horton took a chip of ice from the Boston Garden.
The ice at the Garden?
Brought it all the way to Vancouver. Once it was melted, he sprayed it on the ice. That was my favorite moment.
Give a little home ice advantage on the road.
And I remember we were sitting there for Game 7, and I was watching that and wondering what he was doing. When I found out what he was doing afterwards, one of the
made all the sense in the world.
One of the coolest things I've ever heard. And I still want to know how he snuck that on a plane.
Yeah, well, he's Nathan Horton. He can sneak whatever he wants on a plane.
True.
But, you know, it kind of goes into that, it falls in the category of all that, like, Boston lore.
Right.
You know, that folklore that goes along with, you know, the Red Sox and things like that, like reversing the curse when they did that in 2004, stuff like that.
We have a lot of that going on in the past 10 years.
Hey,
it works.
Luck's on our side, I guess.
Yeah.
My favorite moment was, personally, I think the most incredible thing that I've seen a goaltender do.
I know where you're going with this.
And it was our good friend Tim Thomas and his absolutely outstanding.